I wanted to give an update on the MacBook that I bought on eBay that I've been working on. I had some trouble with it. Figured I'd show you what happened. I did get some advice on the forum, and he said check the LDO outputs, and you know, that's good advice. So let's go ahead and open up the board view here, and I'll show you where those were. So this right here, this is your TI chip. This is the chip that's going to take the PP3v3 G3 hot as long as it's present, obviously, from the USB after it goes through that supply over there. And this chip is what is going to communicate with the charge port and enable 20 volts. In my case, I never got the 20 volts. The unit would just show the 5 volts to restart. Well, there are some LDO lines on there that he said to check, and I'm going to bring that up in the schematic right quick. Let me just shift end, bring up the next one. Shift in again. There. Let me full screen this. So he said to diode check these lines, because if these LDO lines are not present, if they're messed up, it will do that 5 volt bounce. So I diode checked it, and sure enough, instantly I discovered that 2 of the resistors on those lines had corrosion, because this whole area is underfilled. And I look closely under the microscope and try and get rid of all the corrosion, anything that looks questionable. I will, poke on the chips and see if they slide, and if it's questionable, it goes. Caps, chips, all. So the first thing I did with this board is went through all those pieces, found probably half a dozen capacitors and resistors that are questionable. After you take them off, sure enough. The other thing I do is anything in these areas that has water damage on them, like there was also damage on this side of the board. I mean, I will, once I get one thing hot, I'll pull this off and look at the pads. I'll pull that off and look at the pads. Any of these chips here that get corrosion damage on them, I will just liquefy them, lift them, and look and put them back, because you never know what hides underneath those 3v3 volt and 5 volt legs. There'll be corrosion you can't see from the top because the pad's underneath. So it's really quick to do. I went through and checked all the parts, couldn't find anything. But what got me is these LDO lines, and here's one of them right here. What got me is some of these parts, like these resistors and so on, that are in the underfill. You can't really see the corrosion. It will get on the top, which is exposed, and then it will go down, like if this were the resistor, right, in super view, right? So this is all underfilled right here. The corrosion will get in and then go down. Even though the underfill's over here, it will go in and down and under. So when you look at it, you just see underfill and a resistor. You don't really notice the corrosion. And that was the case on this one. So after I fixed the corrosion issues on 2 more resistors I found, this is the result. And it's a good result, because I probably paid too much for this thing on eBay, but I definitely wanted to take a swing at it. And luckily the only problem was it was just localized into one wing of the board, and we're good to go. So thanks to the help out there on the forum. And I think maybe, let me see if I can bring that up. Yeah. So there was my forum question. There was that first YouTube video. And he said diode check all input and LDO lines near the CD3215s, and those are the Texas Instrument chips we talked about. And then, yep, I found 2 bad LDO lines, and that's the result. So if you are fixing these things, you definitely want to be a member of the repair group, because it's invaluable to be able to communicate with people in the industry. And a lot of times in this industry, people are pretty secretive and don't share information. Since I'm fairly new at this particular board, I haven't seen all the little common areas that where water gets in and does its thing. It was very helpful to get that advice.